To get to the start of the Tour du Mont Blanc, we flew into Geneva, then caught a train to Lausanne. From there, it was an Uber to Trienne. Most people don't start the track here, but we had to be in Courmayeur by a certain date, so starting here worked for that.
Hey! Let's do it.
Day 1 was 13 kilometres to Tres-le-Champ, with 1,000 metres of ascent. We crossed the border from Switzerland into France and enjoyed so many wildflowers. Our accommodation for the majority of this trip was camping, which is available at Auberge Le Bon.
Day 2, yay!
This was our longest day at 26 kilometres and 1,100 metres of ascent and then descent, in order to make it to our next camping spot in Les Ouches. One of the great things about the climb up was the incredible views and passing a few ski resorts, which meant cafes and one of my favourite things about France, Orangina.
There was less excitement for today.
This was one of my favourite days because of the French culture I got to experience. It was 18 kilometres and only 650 metres ascent. However, all of those were in the first 4 kilometres, so at points it felt like we were walking straight up. At the top was Col d'Ivouza, which reminded me of the resort in Dirty Dancing, where families could pick the activity of their choice while staying. The rest of the day was spent walking through lovely French villages, including Les Contamines, where we were greeted with a street fair. The day ended a further 2 kilometres on at Camping du Pontet, which is next door to an adventure park, and had a TV for me to experience the enthusiasm of the French when they won the World Cup. At 16 kilometres and 1,300 metres ascent, this was our greatest elevation gain yet. But before the climb up, we walked past Notre Dame de la Gorge. Then we climbed up and up through a snowfield, which got this Aussie, who rarely sees snow, pretty excited. Once at Col du Bonhomme, there was a little bit of fun rock hopping across to Col de la Croix before descending down to Les Chapeaux for the night.
Tasty goodness. Day 5. Yes!
This day was a 15 kilometre day with 1,000 metres of elevation gain to Refugio Elisabetta due to no legal camping options on this leg. The day started out gently rising up through the valley, where we had morning tea at Refugio di Motte. We then climbed up to Col de la Cime, the highest point on the TMB at 2,516 metres, and crossed from France into Italy.
Yeah. Italy! France! Day 6.
Day 6.
Yay!
Hooray!
At 18 kilometres and only 460 metres ascent, this sounded like an easy day. However, what goes up must come down, and the previous day's elevation gains were all lost as we descended 1,500 metres down into Courmayeur. However, it wasn't all bad. There was lots of lovely lakes with reflections along the way, and the promise of a couple of days off in Courmayeur, where we indulged on Italian food, caught the skyway up to see Mont Blanc, and otherwise did as little as possible.
Day 7!
Whee!
As we headed out of Courmayeur, we were one less due to prior engagements. This day was only 12 kilometres, but the 800 metres of elevation gain saw us climb to the same height as the first Skyway cable car we had taken up the mountain the previous day. The day ended at Refugio Bonatti.
Day 8, here we come.
Today was one of the biggest in terms of distance and elevation at 20 kilometres and 1,500 metres ascent, but we crushed it into La Folie. We hiked in cloud, crossed the second highest point on the track at 2,537 metres as we crossed back into Switzerland from Italy.
Italy! Switzerland! Switzerland! Italy!
And Switzerland also helpfully reminded us to watch out for breasts.
Day 9!
Day 9, second last day.
At 17 kilometres and only 500 metres elevation gain, this was going to be a pretty easy day. So we enjoyed a relaxing morning and had time to have a bit of fun in the fields.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
We then walked the way of the mushroom past wooden carvings into Champex, where we enjoyed ice cream.
Bon appetit!
Before going a further 2 kilometres to camping at Arpet.
The last day.
The last day, yay!
Very last day.
Our last day at 14 kilometres and 1,100 metres of ascent saw us take the alternative into Col de la Fauclaz near Trienne, as reading the guidebook on the previous day resulted in this conversation. Hey, did you know that the alternative route for tomorrow would take us up to the highest point yet at 2,665 metres? And the track is described as a chaos of boulders and steep, gritty slopes. Want to do it? Of course, the only answer was yes.
Yes.
But were rewarded with awesome views of Glacier du Trienne and some slightly sketchy track.